Okay, we'll start off with a question from Seth Rohrbaugh.
Hi, Connor. Welcome to Pittsburgh, and I appreciate you giving us some time today. Hey, I was looking at your career numbers here, and each of the last three seasons, whether it was Boston or Buffalo, you led the team you played for in hits. You have a pretty distinct style of playing. When did you realize that's the style that you maybe need to employ in order to get from juniors to college to pro to the NHL, et cetera? And how do you go about that? Being, with all due respect, maybe a smaller guy in that regard.
That's okay. I've heard that plenty of times. That's kind of how I've always played, and working to get to the next level, it was always a big part of my game, and I feel like I outcompeted my way to the NHL with that sort of style, and that's what's going to keep me there.
Next question's from Matt Bensel.
Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
How did you find out about the trade? Is there a story there? What was your initial reaction to the trade, and how do you feel about it now that you've had some time to kind of wrap your head around it?
I'm really excited for the opportunity. It was kind of funny. I was putting my daughter down for a nap. I guess the draft was going on. We didn't even have it on the TV, but I didn't see Kevin, the GM of Buffalo, he texted me, and I had a missed call, I guess, when I was in the room. So then, she was getting a nap. I was getting a nap too. We went to our room, and Kevin popped up. I didn't even see I had already missed a call. And I told my wife, I was like, "Oh, Kevin's calling," She's like, "Oh, where are we going?" And then, I answered, had to whisper a little in our bathroom. And he told me it was Pittsburgh, and I was pretty excited.
Next question's Michelle Crecchiola.
Hi, Connor. Welcome to Pittsburgh. I feel like I have to ask about fighting Spez in your NHL debut and just how that kind of all came about. And did you and Spez, have you guys had a good laugh about it since?
Yeah, I guess I gotta talk to him about that too, actually. It was kind of funny. I was just trying to survive NHL debut, and I'm just trying to survive out there, and ended up getting a fight with him, and I know he doesn't fight often. It was quick, and then we served our time in the box. But it was funny. Yeah, I guess he was looking for it more than me. I was just trying to survive out there for game one. I had a little laugh with him. I think it must have been a year or two after when he was in Toronto. I hear round two, and I was like, no, I'm good, man. We already got ours. So that's pretty funny.
Wes Crosby.
Hey Connor, thanks for doing this and welcome to Pittsburgh. You mentioned that you're excited about the opportunity. Obviously, there are some big names still on the roster, but it's also maybe a team in transition. Just what specifically about the opportunity does excite you with the Penguins?
I think to play with some greats. I think, with the star power, some of the star power in that room, I think it's going to be, awesome to be around those guys. I think, I came up for the Boston Bruins playing with some absolute legends, and it's kind of, I get to play with Sidney Crosby, so that's, it's pretty incredible. I mean, I've played against those guys for a while now, but I'm excited to meet them, get in the same room, and get on the same side as them for once.
Dan Kingerski.
Hi, Connor. Thanks for doing this. Physicality is obviously a part of your game, and I'm curious. Buffalo has been kind of parallel to Pittsburgh for the last couple of years or so. What is your view of the current Penguin situation? And maybe it's kind of like a second part of that. Obviously, there's a lot of right side defensemen on the roster right now. And have they said anything to you about your opportunity and what they expect?
No, not too much. I spoke with Dan. I was actually I came to Pittsburgh last week for a couple days. I was speaking to Dan and just how, we're going to be competitive and it's all going to start with work. And he mentioned he wanted me to come in and, try to find it right away and don't come in all passive, but be aggressive and be who I am. And I think that's always good to hear. I said, I'm excited for the opportunity, and yeah, I guess, you want to talk about standings, but, with obviously some of the guys you have in that room, you got a veteran group, an older group who knows how to play the game, knows how to manage situations. So I think, I'm excited. I'm excited to get back to that and, meet the guys and get this year started.
Seth?
Connor, just what did you make of your time, or at least last season in Buffalo? I mean, like I said earlier, you led the team in hits, a lot of PK time. There was also some healthy scratches mixed in there. Just what do you make of how last season unfolded for you?
I wasn't too happy with it. I think, I think I was all over my place. I think I wouldn't even say just last year, really the past 2 years. I think my game, it's kind of been at a standstill. It was a lot of mental battles along the way. There was a couple scratches 2 years ago too. So I think my whole time in Buffalo, I was, I feel like I kind of lost myself. And again, the change of scenery, I got that call that, I'm going to be a Pittsburgh Penguin. I was really excited for the change. I want to, get back to my old self and how I play and the impact how that I have on the game. So, I mean, for me, it was a couple mental battles. Yeah, a couple. I think I got scratched 9 games last year, but you just try to simplify and be who you are, I guess.
Michelle?
So Kyle told us that Dan actually tried to recruit you to Yale, and obviously it totally makes sense why you went to Quinnipiac. But what are you looking forward to when it comes to the chance to play for Dan now at this point in your career?
Yeah, he did, which is kind of funny. My dad was all excited about that, but he mentioned he's been watching me for. I mean, I went to college in 2013, right? So it's over a decade since he's been watching me, and he told me how he loves my game. And like I said, I think that's nice to hear. And I think we're excited to work together for the first time. Obviously, it didn't work out when he was trying to recruit me in college because obviously I went to Quinnipiac and it worked out great for me. So yeah, excited to finally get to work together.
Last one, Seth?
Connor, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but you kind of said, you've always kind of had to fight your way up, or maybe you overachieved some. Your background, being from New Jersey and being from Quinnipiac, again, not maybe traditional places for NHL players to come from. How much did that background, or where you came from, maybe craft how you go about your business as an NHL player?
I think, I mean, from an early age, it kind of all started with work. My dad whistling at me from the stands, telling me to move my feet. I'm not moving fast enough. So I think it starts there. And yeah, I guess my goals of hockey, right? I'm playing junior in New Jersey. Okay, I want to play D1 college hockey. I commit to Quinnipiac. I go there. I just keep trying to develop and get better and keep pushing up the ladder. And then I got an opportunity with Providence, then Boston, to Buffalo, now to Pittsburgh. So I think, yeah, there's always setbacks on your journey, and I'm pretty proud of the journey I'm on, and I think I have a lot left to give. And like I said, I'm really excited for a fresh start in Pittsburgh, and can't wait to get started.
Perfect. You're all set, Connor. Thanks. I appreciate you doing this.
Thank you, guys.
First question will come from Michelle Crickio.
Hi, Caleb. Welcome to the Penguins. Just wanted to ask what went into your decision to sign with Pittsburgh, and maybe just what you're looking forward to about this opportunity here.
Yeah, I was obviously this summer I got a call from my agent, and they said they kind of had interest in me and had been talking for a little bit, and I just felt like the opportunity to go into Pittsburgh and become be a regular guy every night and really fully be established was something too good to pass up. And I had a lot of communication with management and the coaches, and I just felt really good about the opportunity I was going to have, and that's kind of how the decision was made to sign in Pittsburgh. And obviously, I'm really excited. I think we'll have a good team, and I think it's going to be a great chance for me to come in and kind of show what I can do and really earn a spot.
Justin Guerrero.
Hey, Caleb, just wondering for people out there who maybe aren't super familiar with you or your game, just how would you describe yourself as a defenseman? Just what do you think makes you stand out on the blue line, and what's your approach on the blue line?
Yeah, so I'm a two-way defenseman. I think skating is my best attribute. I think I close gaps really fast. I'm a really good defender. And then obviously I can get up the ice and try to kind of be the fourth man in the rush or kind of help the offense out. But I'm an aggressive defenseman. I like to pinch. I like to kind of stay right on top of guys and play with a really tight gap and kind of take away all time and space and close really quick with my skating ability.
We'll go back to Michelle. Michelle, if you want to ask your 2 or 3 questions, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Caleb, I just feel like you have a really cool background, so I'm sure you probably talked about it a lot, but I did want to ask you now as well for our fans. I did want to ask how your dad felt about his boys sort of taking to hockey instead of basketball. And, I know they're different sports, but what sort of wisdom or advice has he given you that maybe applies across the board?
Yeah, he obviously, we were younger. We started when we were really young with hockey in Colorado. And, he never really had an issue with it. I'm sure deep down he probably wanted us to play some basketball, but it just never happened. He was really supportive the whole time. And obviously, him being a pro athlete, he has a lot of good advice. And, I'd say Seth has had a little bit of a different path than he had in basketball and than I've kind of had here in the NHL. So, when I've had the last couple of years, when I've had some tough moments in my career, he's kind of been through the same type of thing, obviously a different sport, but kind of just having to work and earn your opportunity every year. And I think he's done a good job of kind of giving me that advice when I needed it.
Nice. And I'm sure you and Seth, you probably, played street hockey and pretended you were in the NHL and dreamed about making it as kids. And so what was it like getting to play with him in Chicago? And then what was it like seeing him win the Stanley Cup this summer and were you able to be there in person and just what was that whole experience like?
That was awesome. And like you said, we obviously growing up, you always dream of getting to the NHL and, it's obviously doesn't seem like it's possible that 2 kids from the same family could do it. And being able to play with them in Chicago for a couple of years and be paired together sometimes on the same defense pair was, it was really cool. Looking back at it, you kind of don't realize when you're in the moment how special that is. But like looking back, it was a really special moment. It's something that you definitely don't want to take for granted. And we enjoyed every second of it. But seeing him win the cup, that was awesome because we've trained together for 8 years and just kind of knowing the amount of hard work we both have put in and seeing how he's had so many hard times in Chicago and things didn't quite go his way there, but he kind of stuck with it and was able to get traded to a good team and contribute a lot to helping him win that cup. It was just awesome to see, and I was just happy I could be there and celebrate with them, and kind of makes you want to keep working and hopefully get that same opportunity.
Nice. And just one follow-up to that. I did want to ask where you guys train in the summers.
Yeah, so usually we actually train in Dallas, but right now I'm down in Fort Lauderdale with him, and I'm training in Florida.
Nice.
So it was a little switch. Okay,
gotcha. And then my last one, I saw you got married. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I did want to ask what your favorite parts of the big day were, and then what else was or is on your summer itinerary.
Oh, that was, I think my favorite part was probably, oh man. I'd say like the reception after, obviously the ceremony and everything it was a smaller wedding, but the ceremony was great. I would say just the reception after and kind of being able to enjoy it and drink and dance and have a bunch of family and friends around. That was really special. And then, obviously the honeymoon was a blast too after that, but my summer itinerary is now just training and kind of getting ready for camp. Obviously, that was kind of I had about 20 straight days in July. It was all wedding and honeymoon. So I kind of had to get going here in Florida right away after that.
Joe, go ahead. You might need to unmute, Joe. Okay, we'll go to Justin.
Caleb, you're joining the Penguins organization at a time of essentially a new chapter for the club. Just bringing in a new head coach and Dan Muse. I'm curious, what do you know, if anything, about Dan Muse? Have you had any initial conversations with him, and what are your expectations just heading into camp as far as maybe the system in Pittsburgh that you're going to be walking into and how it might suit you?
Yeah, so I didn't know much about Dan before. I talked to him on the phone a couple weeks ago, but yeah, I didn't know much about him before. But he seemed like a really smart guy, and he kind of we had about a 45-minute conversation. He took me through what they were thinking with systems and how we're going to play different things, and it seems like a really smart guy, and definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to hockey. I know he's been around on a couple of different teams as an assistant. So, I think anytime you have a whole new staff like that coming in, even for the guys that have probably been there, it's always nice to have a fresh set of eyes and kind of a new opportunity for everyone to kind of show what you can do and try to impress them. And that's kind of my plan going in there, is just play my game and let your play on the ice kind of hopefully do the talking and get you your opportunities.
Let's go back to Joe. See if we can get it this time.
Yeah, sorry about that. We good? Yeah,
Yep.
Apologize. Thanks for your patience. Hey, Caleb, welcome to Pittsburgh. Actually covered you in Chicago, so great to see you again. And something else I remember along with you getting to play with your brother was just you fully taken advantage of opportunities to kind of show your skill set a little bit more and getting some opportunities to play a little bit more and then really running with it. I'm just kind of curious how much did that help your confidence, and how do you kind of see that hopefully meshing this year with the opportunity in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely the end of the second year, I remember being paired with Seth there in Chicago and getting to play a lot more after there were a few trades. And I think I was a little younger, obviously, back then, but I think that was a big time for me because it kind of I was able to kind of show myself that, or prove to myself that I could do some really good things in the league. And I'm really looking forward to trying to just kind of get out of my head and just play my game in Pittsburgh and show what I can do, and just have that confidence every night to go out there and do it.
And then this is a little off topic, but is Whiskey still with us?
Yeah, Whiskey's he's a bit older since Chicago, but yes, he's still with us.
Okay, good to hear. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, Caleb. Thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Hey, Parker, welcome to Pittsburgh. What excites you about this opportunity to join the Penguins? And, how did it's been a long time, it feels like, since July 1st, but kind of walk us through that day and how you ultimately wound up here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was obviously an exciting day to get the deal done, and it was Canada Day here, so I was out just on the beach with some friends. But when I started talking to Pittsburgh right from the get-go, it seemed like there was a good connection there. They seemed interested, we seemed interested. We thought it'd be a good fit, with some opportunity to play, and obviously the way the team is, there's obviously like the big four and, just a lot of great players there. And, I think like with looking at the team, they're on the up, and, I think they missed the playoffs. I don't know by too much. So like, an opportunity to get back in the playoffs is kind of all I wanted to do. So everything just kind of lined up really well. Obviously I don't know a ton about the city except for going there on the road, but every time I'd go there, great restaurants, and seemed like a great blue collar city. So
Justin?
Hey, Parker, thanks for doing this. You only took 5 penalties last year in 55 games. All of them were minors. That seems pretty suggestive of you playing a pretty clean game on the blue line. I'm wondering what do you think that illustrates just about kind of how you operate, and if you would agree that that's a strength of yours, playing a pretty clean game defensively.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't always used to stay out of the box. Just especially with like the style I play aggressive, play hard, try and be as physical as possible. But like I just kind of learned growing up, or going through those years of being in the minors and then a couple years in the NHL is like just stay off the refs, and like keep it between the whistles. You're not gonna have many minors, and especially in my situation, if you're taking minors and hurting the team, you're helping no one. So I do my best to stay out of there and play physical and dirty, or between the whistles.
Michelle, go ahead with a couple questions you have.
Hi, Parker. I first just wanted to sort of also ask about last season and just ask what it did for your confidence, reaching career highs in games played and, getting your first goal against a goalie like Vasilevsky and how you hope to keep building on the last couple seasons in general here.
Yeah, obviously, was building pretty good last year. It was kind of tough season. Obviously, we didn't make the playoffs or where we were wanted to be, but with the extra playing time, I felt like I was growing every game. Playing more and more, especially when I get the bigger roles with the PK and stuff. So, yeah, it's just obviously with that goal, it was an exciting time too. Obviously, like having a great goalie like that, who is considered one of the best of all time. Like just to have your first on that is special, makes it that much better. But yeah, it's just always growing. It takes a little bit to get your feet wet for the game to slow down, and I was kind of finding that a little bit more at the end of the year, and just playing more confidently as the game came. And yeah, you can only get that way when you're playing more.
Nice. And then I did want to ask about what it's like having an older brother who's also a pro hockey player and how you guys have sort of helped and supported each other over the years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I owe a lot to my brother. Wouldn't be here without him. Growing up, I loved hockey my whole life, but like I didn't take it as serious. But as soon as I saw the success that he had when he was growing up, and going to the prospects game and watching him get drafted and stuff, and live in the U.S. and all that stuff, I just wanted to be like him. So, I started really buckling down because that was kind of like the life I knew I wanted. And then, he's always helped me along the way, words of encouragement. He's always like someone you can just fall back on. And yeah, we have a good relationship like that.
Awesome. And then where is home for you in the summertime and what's sort of been on the itinerary these last few months?
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver in the summers. I grew up about 40 minutes from here in Surrey, but I live downtown now. And yeah, just a lot of skating and working out right now. It doesn't change a whole lot. And, just try and fill the weekends with some friends. But yeah, just on the ice 3-4 times a week, and working out 3-4 times a week. So just getting ready for the season. It's been a long off season, so I'm just ready to get back to it now.
Nice. And do you and your brother train together by chance, or are you guys in separate
No,
places?
we're in separate places actually. Yeah, my brother's he's down in Arizona this summer. Yeah, he's been moving around. He used to live in Oregon for years, so we haven't trained together in a while.
Nice. And then last one for me is that do you have any familiarity with anyone in the organization? I see you're from, I know Jars is from, around where you're from. I don't know if you guys have crossed paths before, if there's anyone else that you might already know here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know Tristan. I think I played with his brother when I was really young. I'm not too sure because I think Tristan's a '95. I'm not too sure, but I actually grew up working out with Heinen a little bit, and then we skate together every week. We actually live in the same building, so I know Dan really well. We're good buddies, so that helps a ton. Obviously, knowing him coming into the situation is huge. Just been able to like talk to him too about places where to go and things like that. And then obviously I know Justin Brazeau from last couple of years and years before playing against him. But he was in Boston with me in Providence for a little bit.
Justin, go ahead.
Parker, just curious, what do you know about Dan Muse just heading into this season with Pittsburgh? What have, if any, initial conversations with him looked like as you've kind of familiarize yourself with the situation you're walking into? And second part of that, just do you have any expectations of just the system that's going to be awaiting you in Pittsburgh and how you'll fit into it?
Yeah, I've had a few good conversations with Dan. He seems like a really good guy. I've heard good things. I've had a few players that I've talked to. They say he's going to be straightforward and he's hardworking. So kind of right up my alley. So we'll get along like that. But yeah, nothing to be shared too soon. But yeah, looking forward to the opportunity. And just getting out there and putting on the skates and just going to work on the ice and having a good first impression.